that will follow everywhere. This national level student development program, which offers free online certificate course in effective language development, is organized by V.V.N. Degree College, Bengaluru. V.V.N. Degree College, a unit of V.V.N. Trust, is one of the pioneer institutions in Bangalore, providing academically excellent value-based education for girl students. Since its inception, Vasavi Vidyaniketan Degree College has pioneered the discipline of commerce. Our objective is to provide quality education to girl students and empower them. The college offers graduation course in commerce and has sustained its glorious track record all through the years. The institute is located in one of the most posh locations in Bangalore, that is V.V.Puram near Basavanagudi, which makes it easily accessible through metro, through buses, and all the public transports, and also safe for girl students. V.V.N. Degree College is affiliated to Bangalore Central University and has created an indelible mark for upholding Indian culture and imparting quality education with techno-savvy corporate training programs to enable the students to be confident, responsible citizens with positive thinking and right orientation of mind to face life with all its opportunities and challenges. Now, admissions for first year BCom for girls is open at V.V.N. Degree College, Vanivilas Road, V.V.Puram, Bengaluru, which offers along with BCom degree certificate courses for all the students in Computer Fundamentals for first year, MS Office for second year, Tally ERP 9 for third year, Corel Draw for final year, Photoshop for final year, GST for final year, communication skills for first year, soft skills for second year, campus to corporate training for third year. Like this, all the students are given the benefit of all these certificate courses with lot of encouragement and training for paper presentations in state and national conferences, sports, NSS, eco club activities, scribe bank, dance, drama, and the placement training activities, and many more for holistic development. Concession in the fees for the deserving students is provided. You can go log in vvncollege.in and know more about the facilities, student support in this college. So welcome to V.V.N. Degree College. On this fourth day of effective English language development online course, I, Prasanna Urpika, HOD of English at V.V.N. Degree College and the coordinator of this National Student Development Program, am privileged to welcome and introduce today's resource person, Professor N.G. Narasimhan, who would take up the first session of today on communication skills and body language from 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. Professor Narasimhan is Associate Professor and HOD of English at Vijaya Evening College, Bengaluru. He has double postgraduate degrees in English and Kannada and has a good command on both English and Kannada literature. He has put in 24 years of teaching experience handling English subject for PU, undergraduate students, postgraduate students, and even polytechnic students. Professor Narasimhan's motto in life is to teach English effective enough to make the student learner inspired and motivated towards nobility, righteousness, self-elevation, and social upliftment. He aims to work for a healthy and creative work environment and to be supportive in all good endeavors. Prasanna Simhan is a good singer also and has judged many intercollegiate, interzonal, interstate music and debate competitions. He has worked as a member of the textbook committee for BSc and BCA in Bangalore University, and he is a member at present of the textbook committee for BCom and BBA of Bengaluru City University. He has participated in workshops, state, national, and international subject-oriented activities. On behalf of management, Chief Executive for Academics and Administration, Principal, faculty members, I extend a hearty welcome to Professor Narasimhan. I also welcome Shri Arun Kumar, President of V.V.N. Trust, CAIS Prasad, Secretary General of V.V.N. Trust, Executive Chairman Shri Raj Kumar, Co-Chairman Shri Akhilesh Babu, Principal Professor G. Venugopal, Chief Executive for Academics and Administration Dr. K. Sheshamurthy, all the faculty members. I also extend a warm welcome to all the English learners. Now, over to Professor Narasimhan NG.
Thank you so much, madam. Namaste to all. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thanks for your introduction, madam. First of all, let me take this opportunity to congratulate V.V.N. Degree College and the management as well for holding this national level student development program on effective English language development online certificate course for all the students. In fact, this is really a commendable job. First of all, let me congratulate all those who have been responsible for this magnificent task. Thanks to the President of V.V.N. Trust, the Secretary General, my mentor, in fact, my great inspirer and role model, also CEA and A of V.V.N. Trust, Dr. K. Sheshmurthy, the Principal, Sir, Dr. Venugopal, and most importantly, Dr. Prasanna Udupika, who has been instrumental in making this happen. And I'm really thankful for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this great program. My dear students, I believe most of the participants today are dear students from across the state as well as the country. Dear students, till now, you have been a part of so many sessions from the day one. You have come across how to, build confidence in speaking English and comparison between British English and American English, how to introduce people, how to greet people, how to make requests, how to give instructions, how to use soft skills, in today's world, and also public speaking skills as well. My dear friends, why these things are very important for all of us, especially from the student's perspective, all these factors are very crucial to mold your career. Now, why are we talking about, effective English language teaching? As you all know very well, going forward, English knowledge and English communication will become a pivotal and absolutely essential element for all of you, dear students. Now, today, I would like to share my views on communication skills and body language. Now, why this topic, dear students? What are these communication skills? And what is this body language? Are they one and the same? Yeah, both complement each other. Communication skills and body language both complement each other, and they are interrelated as well. And we know very well right from the beginning, we communicate. We all communicate. We all need to communicate, dear students. We communicate through words, through actions, through expressions, through eye contact, through emojis. We are so familiar today with emojis as well. We send different emojis for different feelings, expressions for different situations as well. So we are trying to communicate our feelings and to others in a very splendid manner, sometimes in a very colorful manner. Now, as babies, we communicate. As children, we communicate. As adults, now we communicate in a different shape, in a different manner as well. nobody can really express something without, being able to communicate. Sometimes, as we said earlier, we communicate through words, and we do communicate with the help of words. I mean, with actions as well. Look at a baby, my dear students. It cries. It also knows what is a good touch for it. It can communicate. If it is happy, you can see a smile, a pleasant smile on a baby's face. If it is not happy with something, it expresses through its crying. You can see tears as well. Now, everything that you can see, watch, everything amounts to communication, dear students. Dear friends, today morning when I was going through the newspaper Times of India, I came across an article, rather, which happens to be a very apt article for today's, session. It was about communication skills or communication patterns in this COVID-19 situation. This is a new normal, and all of us wear masks, when we go out. Now, how are we going to communicate wearing masks, my dear friends? That's a big challenge. When you smile, when you happen to see your friend, you smile, you will have a smile, but you will be wearing a mask. Now, how are you going to show your smile, or how are you going to communicate that you're happy meeting the person? So you will use your thumbs up. That is body language. Giving a thumbs up, using your fingers is also an experiment of body language. Also, your eye contact, when you have covered everything, most of the part of the face is covered, eyes will become very crucial, because through eyes you communicate. No doubt, you will also utter few words, but sometimes if your voice is not clear, the person in front of you may not be able to hear properly. So therefore, this is a new challenge. Of course, we know very well COVID-19 will not be with us forever. It's going to disappear sooner or later. But having said that, indeed, it's a challenge to communicate effectively. So dear students, from a student perspective, let me concentrate more on some focused aspects in communication skills, and which is why I'm trying to present, make a presentation of sorts. I'm going to share screen with you, my dear students, and those slides will also contain a lot of information about what I'm going to share with you. Let me request my dear friends over there if I can share my screen. Is it possible, madam?
Yes. Screen sharing is enabled.
Okay. Here we go. This is about communication skills and body language. And don't forget, even for a moment, my dear students, we are all social animals. Without communication, we can't really survive in this world of competition, in this world of race. So we need to
whole screen.
Yeah.
Could you make the PPT whole screen?
Yeah, I'll try.
Down. Below there is that cup-shaped icon symbol.
I'm not able to see that.
Okay, down. Down, little down.
It's not available.
Possible.
It's okay, madam. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. Dear friends, you know very well, communication skills and body language complement each other. And if you look at the first slide, dear friends, what is communication? I mean, it is just nothing but some of the definitions of communication. What actually is communication? Just to give us a sort of insight into what is communication. Communication is the process of sharing the message that produces response. Now, sometimes, we speak, but rarely we understand the importance of response. If I just start speaking, if I just start communicating to you without really understanding the importance of response from your side, my communication will be a waste. Therefore, communication has to be a complete one. It has to start from a sender or the speaker. It has to reach a receiver, and it has to be very, very, positive or negative, whatever could be the response, but response should be very much there. And therefore, the process of sharing the message that produces response is communication. In other words, transmission of information from one person, group, company, or organization to another. It could be, a process which takes place between two people, more than two people, between two organizations, between two companies, whatever. And also, to put it in simple words, every day we exchange between us ideas, expressions, feelings, thoughts through words and actions. It's not that we know only how to communicate through words alone. Not only oral or for that matter written communication, sometimes we express our feelings through our expressions as well. It is a social process by which people in a specific context construct meaning using symbolic behavior. This is precisely with respect to non-verbal communication, my dear friends. In the upcoming slides, probably this point will be made very clear. Don't forget, we are social products, social animals as well. So we know how to put meanings into those words, into those expressions, into those signals, symbols as well. So, my dear friends, this is communication roughly, which really describes itself. There are many more definitions, but just to give a teaser of sorts for the definitions, we have this slide. Now, also, we have different types of communication. We have formal, we have informal, we have verbal. In verbal, we have oral as well as written. And we also have non-verbal communication, which means through expressions, gestures, postures, walking, something like that. It could be, business communication. In other words, in today's parlance, we use it as corporate communication. In corporate communication, we have exclusive features like organizational communication, how organization should really lend itself to different modes of communication. And then we have one-way communication and two-way communication. And then going forward, we have downward and upward. My dear friends, the last one, the downward and the upward communications normally take place in an official atmosphere in a company or an office. For example, you will have a sort of hierarchy in any setup, in any system. If the superior wants to convey something to his subordinate, then that flow is called a downward communication. And if a subordinate wants to convey something, if he or she wants to communicate something to his superiors, then it is called an upward communication. Now, look at the first two ones. They're quite interesting, and most of you must have been very familiar with the usage of these two terms, formal and informal. Now, between these two, one other thing also has just crept in, which we call semi-formal, my dear friends. What is formal communication? My dear students, you're all students, I know very well. You will be in college for most of the day, right? And you will be having a chat with your teachers, with the principal, with your HODs, with the office people. In fact, there you are expected to be a little bit formal in your, attire, in your dress sometimes, in your communication also. For example, in any company, if there takes place a formal communication, it requires a sort of protocol. There is an etiquette to be followed. In fact, the use of language, the use of words, vocabulary, the body language, the expressions always fall into formality rather. We need to, observe a formality in formal communication. There is a pattern there. Whereas in informal communication, which takes place in our day-to-day life when we talk to our friends, our relatives, most bosom related friends, we try to be a little bit informal. We don't really care about the attire, or for that matter, a uniform, or for that matter, the diction which we use, the words which we use. But we really look at the matter which is to be conveyed. That's it. Look at the next one, verbal communication and non-verbal communication. What is verbal? Verbal means anything related to words. Non-verbal means anything related to anything else but words, my dear friends. Look at verbal, it is divided into two, oral communication, in other words, spoken communication. In other words, there is one more pattern, that is written. Either you can use words in speech or you can use words in writing. Whereas in non-verbal, which we're going to discuss at length in the upcoming slides, expressions and gestures. Hardly we use words. If at all I use even a single word, then it becomes a verbal communication. Now then we have business communication, corporate organization. As I just mentioned earlier, it takes place in a very perfect business environment, an official environment. Dear friends, let me go on to next slide. Now this is what I'm going to concentrate today as far as communication skills are concerned. What do these skills include? They include LSRW. Very crucial, my dear students, very crucial. You take any language for that matter, not necessarily English, though we are concentrating on English language speaking, listening, speaking, reading, writing. In other words, LSRW. All these factors are very crucial to make me, to transform me into a successful, a very good communicator. I need to listen properly. I need to speak properly. I need to read well and write splendidly in order to exhibit, show my talent of communication, dear friends. So today we are going to know something at length about these 4 important aspects of communication skills. Now, what is listening? Listening is accurate perception of what is being communicated. For example, dear students, now I am the speaker. You are listening to me. You're also watching me, no doubt about that. But let us first look at this listening aspect. Even in the classroom, the teacher does, his or her work. There will be a lecture going on, a particular lesson. And students will have to listen, keep themselves ready to listen to whatever the teacher, speaker says. How are you going to listen? Accurate perception of what is being communicated. Whatever the teacher says, whatever the speaker say, you will have to believe in accurate, correct perception. Perception means understanding. My dear friends, you need to perceive, you need to grasp proper things at a proper time. Now, another important thing is listening is hearing, understanding, retaining, and recalling. And in the next segment, I'm going to tell you what is hearing, what is listening. In Kannada, we have 2 very good words, my dear friends. Alisuvudu, kelisikolluvudu. Kelisikollodu bere, alisuvudu bere. Kelisikolluvudu is hearing, my dear friends. Alisuvudu with some interest, which we mean listening. Well, listening involves hearing, understanding whatever is being spoken about, retaining whatever you have understood should be retained in your memory. It should be everlasting, and you should be able to recall whatever has been retained, dear friends. So hearing, understanding, retaining, and recalling, every other aspect is important. Listening is a mental activity and hearing is a physical one, no doubt. We will have to use 2 years, dear friends, and listening will be taking place more here, rather through your ears, through this physical aspect called hearing. And one must use and one must know how to make the best use of ears. They are very sensitive organ, and you have to make the best possible use of the speech in the classroom. What does it mean, sir? Should we really take care of only ears while listening? No. Listening is possible through observations also. And to observe, you also need one more organ of yours, that is your eyes. You must use your eyes for non-verbal communication. Well, if the speaker is trying to communicate through some actions, some expressions, well, you will have to keep your eyes wide open. And you cannot miss even a single expression on his or her face while giving some sort of communication through non-verbal mode. Well, listening is a skill rarely developed, but a significant one. Nowadays, I'm very sorry to say, I agree, in our classes, most of the time, listening is actually forgotten because we involve a lot of time, giving our students, no doubt, we teach our subjects, they will be listening, but listening in itself is a very important activity. One must really undergo this activity, experience the joy of listening, most importantly in the classroom situation. A good listener can become a very good communicator. Now, this is an underlined statement. If you want to be a good speaker, a good communicator, a good conveyor, you must be a good listener, dear students. Now, how to improve listening? Well, there are some tips for you. First and foremost thing is we need to stop talking while listening. That is one of the crucial factors. We need to keep quiet while listening. And unless you keep quiet, unless you stop talking, you will not be able to grasp what the speaker is trying to convey or communicate. Now, you have to put the speaker at ease. If a teacher is doing a lesson or a poem or any other topic, you have to make the teacher or the speaker feel very comfortable, feel at ease, so that the teacher, the speaker will be able to get boost in the confidence factor and try to convey better. And then you will also be benefited out of that. You will be a great beneficiary if you put the speaker in a comfortable position. You have to remove distractions. Well, I need eyes while listening, no doubt about that. Just a while ago, I said eyes are important, but not to the extent of distracting my listening activity. I should not be looking at elsewhere. I should not be diverting myself using my eyes. So distractions will have to be removed. And one must be open-minded as well. Be always receptive to new ideas whenever they come your way. And most importantly, empathize with the speaker. Feel as the speaker, experience as a speaker. You will also think and do the job as a speaker. You must empathize, means you must feel like the speaker. And listen first and take notes later. Now, this is somewhat different with different people. Some students say, sir, we will listen first and then take notes, later. But some others say, they will listen, also they will take notes simultaneously. That depends on individual choice, dear students. And listening should motivate you to ask questions. Sometimes you need to ask questions to yourself first. Have I understood whatever has been told? And then if you are not convinced, you can put questions to the speaker. And listening happens, it becomes very interesting only when you show interest in the topic. Sometimes there would be a very dry subject, being taken up by the teacher inevitably, because it's a part of your curriculum syllabus. And you will have to show interest. You have to extract something out of that as well. Now, the second one is speaking. After listening, it's speaking. Speaking is oral communication with words. Very simple. We use words while speaking. It's important for both speaker and listener. Well, speaker cannot be in a mindset that, okay, I have known something, I'm here to just put forward to you. No, it's not like that. Even the speaker will have to think about how best he can communicate to the listener, and listener in turn will have to understand the importance of the topic, the communication as well. So speaking is used greatly in day-to-day life. In this 24 hours time in a day, how often we speak, if we just judge ourselves, so many hours will be spent either when we are speaking or talking. My dear friends, there is a slight difference between speaking and talking. When we speak, it need not lead to a conversation or a dialogue, whereas when we are talking, it invariably it lends itself to a conversation or a dialogue. So that is the slight difference between when we speak and when we talk. We use speaking, day in and day out. Speaking is faster and quicker because of immediate response we get. If it is a face-to-face conversation or communication, I can see very well the expressions on my listener's face. I will also get the feedback immediately. I can get the feedback immediately. But if it is going to be an indirect communication or a telephone communication, it becomes that much more difficult for me to get that feedback unless the listener expresses through words, dear friends. Speaking ability is required, especially for students, dear friends, in interviews, in group discussions, in presentations, in seminars, in workshops. Whenever you are actually given an opportunity to speak, grab the opportunity with both hands. It's very, very important for a growing mind. An aspiring individual like you should never miss an opportunity. For example, in an interview, your speaking ability is tested. In group discussions, where you have some 6 to 7 people around you, you will be, thrown, you will be actually getting some topics. In fact, you will be given an opportunity to share your views on the topic. Never miss out that. Presentation skills is another important thing. Even in making a presentation, you need to have this ability to speak. And the next one, it is a combination of confidence, intellectual competence with word power. Whenever you see a speaker speaking on the stage, my dear friends, you would really fall in love with the gentleman of the matter, the speaker, because of his competence, because of his confidence. Now, how are you going to get the confidence? If you have competence on the topic of the debate or the speech, if you have enormous word power, if you are rich in vocabulary, you will be the most attractive sight for whoever sitting in front of you. And therefore, speaking is very, very important, dear friends. How to improve speaking skills? Well, there are certain things to be observed. One is organizing things. Assume that you are going for a debate, and most of the students, you might have taken part in so many debates as well, and you know the topic. You will have to gather the information related to the topic. You have to collect the points. You have to organize points one after the other, and look at the content as well, what the topic needs as points, and how many points you need, what are relevant and what are the points that are not relevant for the topic. You can just take them away, and how to deliver that particular aspect. No doubt, you know the topic, you have collected all the information, and also you know the content, right? But without delivering it properly on the stage, on the platform, well, you can't really be doing justice to yourself, to your own talent. And while speaking, you must have excellent body language. I mean, you may be a very great speaker, you may be having great oratory skills, but if you are with very, very, insufficient body language expression, if you are unfriendly, then definitely, my dear friends, your impact will be that much more lesser on the audience. And use of your body, use of your neck, head, everything, use of shoulders, everything, your stance, the way you stand, the way you walk, everything really matters when you're going to speak. And be open to Q&A, question answer session is very, very crucial. I mean, later this program, I am bound to answer some of the questions from you. And even when you are debating, even when you are taking part in a contest of speech, you will have to be ready for feedback. You will have to be ready for an interactive session. That is where you will see the greatest benefit of speaking skill. That's where you develop confidence and overcome fear. Many of us, many of my dear students say we have stage fear. How to come out of this stage fear? How to get rid of the stage fear? Only while going on the stage. You have to stand on the stage to get rid of stage fear. As simple as that, my dear friends. Don't forget, while making proper choice of words while delivering the speech. Use of words is very, very crucial. Now you have reading. Well, reading involves, speed, comprehension, efficiency, retention, recall, purpose, thinking. Now you have come across, so many different readers with different speed levels. Some of them are slow readers. Some of them are rapid readers. Some of them just skim while reading. They don't just read, they skim. And some of them just scan, they never read. Now, what are these, aspects? Let me explain to you. First of all, these two important words, skimming and scanning. Skimming, my dear friends, is looking for only details. For example, if you are reading a newspaper, if you just, read the headlines, then it is called skimming, my dear friends. You will not go into the details. Whereas scanning is looking for a particular detail. Some of the students say, sir, we are very slow readers, sir. I can't read fast. I can't really read fast. That's okay. That's absolutely no problem. Some of them are very, very quick readers. For example, some of my students, even there must be some students among you, you take a storybook, you take a novel, you complete it in a matter of few hours. Some of them are excellent readers, but some of them take time. Doesn't matter. What really matters is, are you really comprehending? Are you really trying to understand what you are reading? That is very crucial. So reading involves understanding, and it also amounts to efficiency. Are you really efficient enough to read? Are you able to retain whatever you have read and understood? That is important, because sometimes you may need that wonderful detail to quote somewhere else. For example, if you are preparing yourself for a speech, you will have to quote so many people, and that happens only when you have good efficiency in retention. You must be able to retain, whatever you have understood, and you must have the ability to recall them whenever it matters. So that is very important. What is the purpose of reading? Why am I reading this novel? Why am I reading this page? You should know the purpose. Am I just reading just to kill time? Am I just reading for a purpose? Am I just reading it for the purpose of examination? Am I preparing for a contest, competition? So I should know the purpose of reading. Or by and large, we all read to gather information, to gain some knowledge on a particular topic, on a particular personality as well. So reading also should make you think. It should make you think. I mean, without really applying your mind, you cannot really complete the reading process, dear friends. So that becomes a futile effort. Now, what are the techniques of reading, dear students? Uh, Reading has to be, at any point of time, active reading, my dear students. It should not be a passive reading. Imagine that you are in a classroom and you will have some 15 minutes left for the final bell, and the class got over, and teacher will ask you to read some of the passages, paragraphs from a lesson. Now, what normally a student will do is he or she will be waiting for the bell, but instead of waiting for a bell, you can just go through whatever has been done in that class. Also, if possible, you can ask teacher what would be her or his next lesson, so that you can open up the chapter, be ready for that. So active reading is reading with involvement, dear friends. So if you are involved in reading, well, that fetches you great benefit, great benefit. You must also fix some time schedule for reading. Some of the students are very experts in doing this. They fix a particular time. They have a time frame to read out some of the lessons, some of the aspects of commerce, science, physics, chemistry, or English, or any other language. They are very good at that. It's also, something which is very beneficial. It works out for some. Concentration on content and speed. This is what I call involvement. When you concentrate on reading, that becomes, because of involvement, you will know something about the content of what you're reading, and then the substance of the reading. And then you also know what should be your speed of reading. For example, if I try to cover up some 10 pages in some 5 minutes, and if I just examine, have I understood all those 10 pages of the text? And if I'm not sure, I must slow down a little bit. So you can have your own pace as well. The next two are two different things: quick and silent reading, slow and steady, loud reading, dear students. I agree. As a student, I had this, act of, loud reading myself. I was a great admirer of loud reading, because it used to give me a lot of confidence, a lot of benefits as well. While reading loudly, I always felt very confident. I always felt very comfortable. No doubt I had people who never, who did not mind my loud reading. I always felt that loud reading enables me to hear my own sound, proper pronunciation of words. And then I used to read very slowly, steadily, but loudly, dear friends. But there are some students who are quick and who are very silent while reading. It is purely your own choice, dear students. Whichever is comfortable for you, just embrace that technique. Make that technique yours. Some of them read silently. They don't prefer any sound at all, but this is also one of the techniques. Pay attention to symbols and punctuation marks. How can I ignore? And when I'm talking about English language development, I mean, English language cannot be really, mastered if I ignore punctuation marks, symbols used, in those sentences. I mean, grammar cannot be ignored at all. My dear friends, you cannot ignore the importance of symbols and punctuation marks. Is that a question mark? Is that a comma? And this is crucial, where, my dear friends, this is crucial while reading a drama. You might have come across so many texts of drama, plays, drama, while reading a drama, you will come across hundreds and thousands of dialogues. And all those dialogues will have those punctuation marks. And you should know the difference between a statement ending with a question mark, a statement ending with an exclamatory mark, or is it a comma or full stop? Because all those punctuation marks convey different meanings, different attitudes of those characters, different expressions, feelings as well. There was a great essayist, there was a great writer in the past, Mr. Francis Bacon. He used to say, reading maketh a full man. Maketh is an old English word, dear students. It means reading makes a full man. If at all you want to be a full man, in other words, a consummate language exponent or a speaker, communicator, you should know reading, how to read properly. And that's what Francis Bacon said. Well, Francis Bacon will appear even in some of the next slides. Now let us move on to the last of LSRW, which is writing. Consider the purpose and expectations of the reader. For example, if I'm going to write an essay or a story or a poetry, or let me come down to my dear students, you will be writing your answers in the examination. You should know the purpose and expectations of the reader. If you are writing your answers as students, who will be your readers? Obviously, your readers will be the teachers, the evaluators. Now, I will have to make my writing a pleasant one, a useful one, a meaningful one, and a profitable one. Remember, you will be writing your answers as students for marks. Don't undermine this. You are actually in expectation of scoring good marks. How are you going to get good marks? Well, if you write good answers, attractive answers with purpose, then definitely you can expect good marks, dear students. Now, while writing, I must also understand there is a bridge between the reader and the writer. I have to bridge this gap between the minds of the writer and the reader. Sometimes when I read some stories, I will just imagine how beautifully the story writer has understood me. Make no mistake, my dear friends, the reader doesn't know who the writer is, and writer doesn't know who the reader is. Still, you will see some connect between the feelings, between the minds of the reader and the writer. This happens when you write with intent, with purpose, with a lot of observation of society as well. So, what is writing? Writing always creates a sort of record. It is an authentic document. Especially whatever could be my speech, how best I can speak, still it cannot be documentation. Most of the time you have come across people, especially nowadays, everything is expected in writing. Give it in writing. Give it in writing. You may say, I'm a very truthful person, but people expect you to give it in writing. And that's why we will have a declaration everywhere. You will have to put your signature there. So that means writing is a very, very legal and legitimate, authentic document. Whatever you are going to write will be a document, especially when you're writing a blue book for assignments in colleges. Remember, those are important documents. dear students. They will have to be preserved, to be shown, to be presented to university officials. So it is the best method of all, and it could be handwritten or e-writing. I can write answers, no doubt. We are doing a conventional writing pattern. We write answers using hand, and sometimes we also write e-letters. I send mails, I send SMSs as well, and therefore writing is possible there in such fashion. How to make our writing effective? Short and simple sentences. Make your sentences as simple and short as possible, but make it as far as possible attractive, to the point. And selection of words should be familiar to the target readers. For example, if I am writing as a teacher, as an English teacher, a story for somebody who is in second standard or third standard, I must really understand what are the words possibly known to a second or third standard kid. I cannot use some of the standardized exalted words, ununderstandable for a child who is in second or third standard. So I should know the selection of words, and I should know who my target is or who my readers will be. And as far as possible, I must avoid jargons, which means technical terms, and I must also I must not use the slang words. Slang words are very native in nature. They may not be understandable for others, non-native speakers or readers. So I must always stick to clarity, clear language. I must always pay attention to grammar and punctuation marks. Most of the time we advise our students, what is the importance of writing a question mark? If it is a question, it has to end with a question mark. If you are making a request, may I get in? Can I go there? Can I go to the library? These are the requests. You're seeking permission. They will have to end with a question mark, dear students. So there should be coherence. In fact, coherence means it should be unified. There should be a binding factor for your writing. There should be clarity. It should be clearly understood. And there should be brevity as well. Brevity means whatever you want to say it in concise form. And most importantly, it should be readable for readers, number one. And look at Francis Bacon, what he says with respect to writing. Writing maketh an exact man. What did he say with respect to reading? Reading makes a full man. Writing makes you an exact man, a complete man. In other words, that's what Francis Bacon said. Dear friends, let me go on to the second segment, body language. Till now we saw communication skills, LSRW component. Now we see what is this body language all about? Why is this hue and cry about body language? How important this language is? Well, body language is always for self-improvement. That's for self-improvement because it is gradual and it is unending. It's always a process. You can always improve your body language, use of your expressions, and it is an ever widening process. As students in first year or second year or final year, you will be observing people at different places. You will be observing people as teachers, people as parents, people as public in general. And you will also be observing their expressions, their body language. And you will also try to imbibe certain factors. Therefore, it is called self-improvement because it is called gradual, unending. There is no end for improvising your body language ability. Body language means something related to non-verbal communication. Normally, verbal communication is different. Non-verbal communication it amounts to eye contact, gesture, facial expression, everything. Body language really, through non-verbal communication, it raises your confidence. It also helps you to be a better communicator, even using words as well. So it enhances your performance. For example, if you are doing a speech, giving a speech in a competition, if you are debating over an argument, a statement, either in favor of that or against it, now the manner in which you present your facts with the help of positive body language will determine whether you are a good speaker or not. One interesting factor there, micro gestures. We have so many gestures, expressions on our faces. Split second micro gestures, is a gesture that occur in less than a second. So therefore, while speaking or while listening, one must be very, very closely watching the speaker, because there could be some of those expressions which we may miss out because they happen in a split second, a fraction of a second. So we should not miss them. In the next point, I have boldened some of the sayings there. Silence is golden. Face is the index of mind. Even these sayings will once again determine the importance of body language. What do you mean by this? In Kannada, they say, Matu Belli, Mauna Bangara. Matu Belli anta helteve, Maunakke Bangara anta helteve. Sometimes it would be better to remain silent more than speaking. Without speaking, if you remain silent, most of the times that will convey something, that will communicate something. For example, when you are angry, if you stop speaking, then it amounts to saying that you're angry with someone. So you can remain silent. Silence also speaks for itself. Look at the next one. Face is the index of mind. Mukha manassina kannadi. Now, what do you see on this face? Most of the times will reflect what we have inside our mind. Well, most of the times, not always. You can very well see my mood, my mindset on my face. And through my eyes also are so transparent that through them one sees the soul. Whoever is able to, express through eyes will be able to tell people how you are able to understand his soul. What you have inside your heart can be very well beautifully expressed through these expressions. There is one more term there, meta communication, which means communication without words, but signs and symbols. My dear friends, you must have seen so many symbols. For example, you're going in a traffic, there is a red signal there, and there is a green signal. As people, as public, we know very well when to stop and when to move on. Which color gives us permission to move on? We know very well. Green says go ahead, red says stop. And also you must have come across so many symbols like plus. These plus symbols also have their own definitions. It refers to health or something related to hospital. And it also amounts to, with respect to mathematics subject, it amounts to an addition symbol. So therefore, that is better communication. Sometimes meaning will be implicit in the communication even when it is not expressed in words. Even without expressing something through words, those symbols will be sufficient enough to convey better meaning sometimes, better meaning. Some of the new words which I would like to introduce to my young friends, features of body language, kinesics, proxemics, haptics, paralanguage. Now, what are these things? Kinesics. Kinesics is a scientific study of gestures and other body movements, whatever we show on our face. It could be a smile. It could be opening my eyes widely. It could be a frown on my face. It could be nodding of my head. All these things, they amount to a study. In fact, it is a scientific area now. In fact, for the first time in America, Ray Birdwhistell introduced or coined this word called kinesics. It's very crucial for us in our careers as well, especially for you, dear students. Proxemics. What is proxemics? You must have observed, I have asked my students, there was a student who used to sit every day in the first bench in all the classes. Of place by the student. No, I would just, in a very light-hearted manner, I would ask him, did you have a tussle with your friend because of the fact that, you went to the last bench? Proxemics means something related to proximity. It is related to space and distance. Study of the effects of physical distance or space. In fact, Edward T. Hall, we call him E.T. Hall, introduced proxemics. He coined this proxemics, the study, in 1960s. We talk about maintaining social distance nowadays in COVID-19 situation. But if you maintain distance in a normal situation, in a non-COVID situation, it means you are going away from somebody. You are trying to isolate, you are trying to draw yourself away from somebody, which is not good. So if you are maintaining social distance now, which is very good, everybody will applaud for that, but not every time. So proxemics is nothing but study of the effects of physical space or distance. Next one is haptics. Haptics is a study of touch behavior. What happens, what do we convey? What do we communicate through touch? That is crucial. For example, I can, pat on somebody's.
Yes? Okay. ಆಯ್ತು. ಹಾ ಹಾ
Okay, ಈಗ okay, yeah. After kinesics, ಅಲ್ಲ? Okay, here we go. This is about kinesics. And, you see, hope I'm audible, dear friends. Yeah, okay. There was a slight, error there, but now hope I am audible to all my dear students there. Kinesics, proxemics, haptics, paralanguage. Kinesics is something which is very crucial. It was first introduced by Ray Birdwhistell. It tells about gestures and other body movements. All these gestures and body movements, they all fall under one category, which means kinesics. Now, what is proxemics? In fact, I was about to tell. Once it so happened, one of my students used to sit in the first bench in all my classes. All of a sudden, he went back to the last bench. You know what I asked him? What's the problem? Why did you shift from first bench to last bench? He just, no reason at all, sir. I just, went back to the last bench. You know why I asked this question? Because of the proximity factor. Because of the proximity factor, that really, worked out really well. And proxemics is the study of the effects of physical distance. No doubt, nowadays we talk about social distance, maintaining social distance, but not every time, but in normal situation, we are not supposed to maintain social distance. Whereas in COVID-19 situation, we are expected to stay apart, no doubt about that. But proxemics is a study about physical distance and space, how best we can use the distance also to communicate. If at all I'm close with someone, I will be closing, I'll be getting closer to him. If I don't like the company of some people, I will always stay away from that company. Next one is haptics. What is haptics? Haptics is a study of touch behavior. Touch behavior is also something which communicates beautifully. For example, I can encourage somebody through my words. Also, I can express it doing a non-verbal act. I can pat on somebody's back, saying that, you are doing a fabulous job. I can encourage. For example, if I come across a speech which is very inspiring, I will clap my hand. Even clapping my hand is also a non-verbal, a haptic behavior, because touching is something. Babies or children, they are experts in especially understanding the touch. They know what is good touch and what is bad touch. Next one is paralanguage. What is this paralanguage? Paralanguage is something which runs parallel to conventional language. How communication is done. What about the articulation? What about the pronunciation, pitch, volume, pause, tone, and speed? You must be observing now how I am speaking. I'm not only speaking with monotone, I'm just trying to bring some variations as well. My pitch is different. Sometimes, there will be a rise and low, and the tone is different. It's not monotone always, because if it becomes monotonous, then the speaking or communication itself will become very, very average, dear friends. Now, the last but one slide, 4 pillars of body language: eye contact, gesture, posture, and voice. Once again, these are some of the things which have been hinted at in the previous slides. What is eye contact? Eye contact builds emotional relationship between speaker and listener. It promotes confidence, intimacy, and admiration. Through eye contact, I can always make people understand whether I'm comfortable or not with them, especially students, while taking part in debates and competitions. Your eye contact should be very, very positive. You should be looking at audience. You should not be, avoiding people. You should not be looking at sky while addressing an audience, a gathering. It also amounts to gesture. Gesture means facial or body expressions for communication. In other words, raising your hand. For example, if there is a seminar and if the speech is over and if the speaker asks you, are there any questions, you will first raise your hand. Even by raising your hand, you will also try to communicate that you want to speak. Well, as a negative thing, if somebody yawns, that is a sign of getting bored with the activity. Yawning could be because of sleepy, or yawning could be because of boredom as well. So patting, raising hands are some of the body expressions or facial expressions which we have come across. And posture. Well, posture is very crucial in interviews, in sessions, in group discussions. The way you stand, the way you walk, the way you sit, everything matters. You know, while sitting before an interview panel, you can't be fidgety. You can't be, leaning backward like this. You can't be stretching your legs. And while walking also, if you are going for a job interview, if you are walking with drooping shoulders, if you are not so looking very positive, you will not be offered, for the job. You will not be offered the job in spite of your academic excellence. So therefore, standing, sitting, walking, in total, postures are very, very crucial. And the next one is voice. How best you can use your voice. How do you project and how do you bring variety? And is your voice audible? Now we saw sometimes, because of technical errors, my voice couldn't be, reaching you. But having said that, originality should be there in your voice and it should be audible to all. If you are trying to speak to the classroom, you should not miss out even a single person in the class. It should be audible to everyone. And the other aspects like touch, clothing are also key factors. The way we cloth, the way we dress also matters in body language because they also communicate to a large extent, to a very, very great extent, my dear students. Well, that's it. Thank you so much. Today we have, I have tried my level best to interact with you with respect to communication skills and body language. And we also saw as people who live in society, and most importantly, you, dear students, as students, you must always make a very, very positive, effort in making yourself competent enough to make communication skills better. And also, your body language should be supremely appealing, dear friends. And that's all from my side. Thank you so much, madam. It's yours now.
Yes, sir. Narsimhan, sir, we have some questions. We have some questions from the students.
Yes, ma'am.
A student asks, how to improve vocabulary?
It's a very simple question, but towards a very complex process.
Yes.
Well, to improve your vocabulary, there are different ways, my dear child. You must read. No matter what you are reading, anything good you come across, you must be able to take up and read. And while reading, I also made it a very nice point in my presentation. While reading, pay attention to each and every word. Because when you read, you come across so many words. When you come across so many words, you will always develop a sort of desire to use those words in your own speech. Those words should become day-to-day words to you. So by reading, you will improve your vocabulary. And always after reading, you will have to start writing. That really makes you a perfect person. The more you write, the more you become familiar with those words, the spelling of the words. Also, when you start speaking them, when you start, making use of those words in speech, you will become proficient in the pronunciation of the words. And that is how you will have to improve your vocabulary. Above all, you will have to listen to those speeches as well. Audio will be available everywhere and you will have to just plug in and listen to some of the great speeches. So you will come to know the tonation, everything. That's how you can improve your vocabulary.
Yes, that was a very wonderful answer. So another question that we have come across here is, what is the exact tone to be used during debate and ordinary speech?
I believe this is from the point of view of students, I believe.
Yes,
am I right, madam?
Students have typed questions in the chat box.
That's why I always made a reference to either debate or speech during my presentation. Well, tone is something which depends upon individual ability. You can't expect every child or every person to be with the same tone or voice levels because voice pattern will be different. Your vocal cords quality will be entirely different. So it depends on individuals how they make the best use of that. And for that, there are so many things which we can do. Before you step onto the platform, I mean, the debate platform, you can practice it in front of your friends, your relatives, your teachers, maybe in front of the mirror, looking at yourself. You will come to know which is the comfortable tone or position as well. Even while talking to your own friends, even while making a speech to a gathering, to an audience, there is a huge difference. For example, I will not be making a lot of variation while talking to my friends. Whereas if I'm making a presentation over a topic to a gathering of hundreds rather, then I will definitely be very serious and my tone should not fail. Though I will have a microphone there, though I will have all those technical devices to enable me, my original voice, my tone should be very, very friendly. I mean, why I call this friendly? Because I must take into confidence my listeners, my audience. I should not, let them feel that they are ignored, they are forgotten. No, they are there to be looked at. They are there to be taken seriously. And therefore, my belief is all my dear friends who would like to take part in debates, you must always have a comfortable, friendly tone when you are doing a speech, when you are giving a speech. That's what I feel.
Yes. So for everything, what you suggest is practice is important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What you want to become, how you want to present, for everything, you need to practice. Practice
Yeah.
makes man perfect.
Exactly.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It had
Sorry
been,
for the interruption in the middle, ma'am.
yes, some technical glitches we came across then.
Yeah.
We at V.V.N. Degree College are grateful to Professor Narasimhan for being part of this national level knowledge enriching program for the students. It was really a very informative session and also enriching. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to all. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. Shortly, we are going to start with the second session of the day, and the topic is understanding discourse through reading. The resource person is Professor Murtyappa, Associate Professor, Government First Grade College, Yelahanka, Bengaluru. Sir is a member of Textbook Committee for BCom of Bangalore University. He is on the Executive Board of Bangalore University English Teachers Association as an organizing secretary. Professor Murtyappa has participated and presented papers in state, national, and international conferences. His articles are published in referred UGC journals. To name a few: use of technology in English language teaching, computer-assisted English language teaching, and so on. He is member of English Language Teachers Association of India. Professor Murtyappa is passionate of training rural students in developing English language skills. He had taken a group of rural students to IFLO, Hyderabad. He is involved in experimenting new teaching methodologies for rural students to help them to develop English language skills. So, a very hearty welcome for the session. Over to
Thank you, madam.
Professor Murtyappa, sir.
Thank you, Prasanna, madam. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. You are audible.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
Screen
Good morning,
sharing
madam.
is
Good morning.
enabled. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. And yes, madam. Good morning, one and all present here. Respected Principal Venugopal sir and the management of V.V.N. management, Vivna Udipikar madam, and all the participants, particularly my dear students. To deliver a lecture on understanding discourse through reading. Madam, am I audible?
Yes, 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 sir.
Yeah, shall I continue, madam?
Yes, continue, sir.
Okay.
Screen sharing
Right.
is enabled. You can make use of
Yeah,
it.
yes, madam. I am sharing. Yeah. Is it seen, madam? Is it seen? Hello?
No, we are not able to see your screen.
Yeah, now?
No, sir. No. You can start, I think.
I think now, I think you, yeah. Yes? Hello, madam?
Yes, sir.
Now? Is it seen? Hello?
Yeah, we are not able to see your screen. Is it because of the internet issues there where you are? Is it because of the internet connection? Screen sharing
No,
is
it's not
enabled.
like.
Screen sharing is enabled. You have to just share that.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sharing.
Yes.
Now?
Now it's visible. Now it's visible. You can go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Now it is visible, madam.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Now it's very visible.
Okay.
But if possible, make it full screen. Full screen.
Okay. Now I think it is full screen.
Yes, perfect. Yes, sir.
Yes. So once again, thank you, your principal Venugopal sir, and yourself, madam, for providing this opportunity. Right?
Yes.
If any. Right. So I begin my presentation with reading, understanding discourse through reading. So issues to be discussed, today are language skills. I begin my discourse discussing about language skills. Many of you know that what are the language skills? LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Today, I would be focusing on reading skills. So reading is very important to understand discourse, particularly. Then what is language? You all know that language is a medium of communication. Yeah, it's a medium to share one's emotions or feelings. Then language means a verbal communication. Yeah, a cultural connotations or implications. Then why do we need English language? Because English is a medium of communication, medium of instruction, a link language in pan-Indian setup. It's a language of business, trade, commerce, and it's a medium of internet. It's also, yeah, it is a language of media. Then it is an international language too. Now, how do we learn language? So that is how I begin my discourse today. Natural in the case of mother tongue, as far as learning mother tongue is concerned, it is very natural, whereas it is very conscious learning in the case of second language, particularly English here. For example, if you look at a child, how a child learns a language. So child learns the language very naturally. Now I focus on the nature of reading. Reading, So here is a famous quotation, Francis Bacon, who talked about reading. He said, "Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man." So that is how reading is very, very important in order to understand the discourse. So I begin my presentation by talking about reading. Now let me focus on understanding discourse. So what is discourse? Discourse means a debate. Discourse is nothing but debate, or discourse means written or spoken communication. So either it is a written form or a write-up or a spoken communication. So here I will be focusing on the written mode, the written communication rather than the spoken discourse. So a write-up or a speech, even a write-up is a discourse, a speech is also a discourse. Now, the next point is a text or a work of art. I know students, my dear students, yes, hello. Ah, dear students, when we read newspaper, our method of reading newspaper is different. When we read a prescribed text, our method of reading the text is also different. And so also, when we read a work of art, our approach is different. Now, yeah, at the outset, I want to make it clear, discourse, I am not focusing on the stylistic discourse as such. Here, discourse, I am focusing very generally, how a student can read a text and a student can understand it. So, to which, in order to make you understand a text, I begin with models of reading process. So there are some models of reading process, text types, reading purpose and reading strategies. How do they interact? Then I will be focusing on pre-reading activity using reading skills. Now, I begin with reading model 1, that is the bottom up model. Dear students, you can please follow this model, whereby you can understand how you can read a text and understand the discourse. Reading builds up meaning. So why do we read? In order to understand, in order to gain the meaning. That is why we read. Reading should begin with smallest unit. Whenever you read something, you have to have the knowledge of the smallest unit of meaning. What is the smallest unit of meaning? To gain comprehension or understanding. Whenever you try to read something, our intention is that our intention is that we have to begin with the smallest unit in order to understand the text. Example, so here you will understand. So how you have to understand? You have to understand the sounds of a language. If you don't understand the sounds of a language, it is very difficult to understand the reading comprehension. Take for example the English language. So we have vowels and consonants in English. 12 vowels are there in English and 24 consonants are there. If you have the knowledge of 12 vowels and 12 consonants, then it will be very easy for you to understand the reading comprehension. And even their articulation. Articulation means how a vowel is produced, how a consonant is produced. Otherwise, if we don't have the knowledge of vowels and consonant, that is the smallest unit of the language, it is very difficult to understand the reading comprehension. Then you have to understand the letters. Letters like in English A to A, A, B, C, like A to Z, 26 alphabets. Then after understanding the alphabet, you have to understand the words. Words, I mean vocabulary. Take for example COVID-19. How do you understand COVID-19? It is a vocabulary, it is a new vocabulary. For last 8 months, the word was not so familiar with us, but we are familiar with this word. Even we are familiar with corona or in, under, near. So this is how, if you understand the basic moving on to phrases. You have to understand the meaning of the phrases. For example, a corona positive. What do you mean by a corona positive? Or masked men. Earlier, these masked men were referring to terrorists. Now imagine these masked men are referring to masked women in the COVID-19 situation is entirely changed. Earlier, the masked men or masked women, the meaning was referring to the terrorists. Now, imagine how the meaning changes. Then, so you have to understand the sentences, sentence structure. How you have to understand, but look at the sentence, listen to me carefully. If you don't understand the structure of a sentence, you cannot comprehend, understand the text. Or the paragraph then. Paragraph, I mean text and discourse. See, this is how you can understand the reading text. You have to begin with sounds, letters, words, phrases, sentences, paragraphs, then the text, that is discourse. Here, discourse means here the writing part. Then you will be leading towards meaning, that is understanding. So understanding only possible all these phases. That's why this is called as, we call it as bottom up model. Bottom up model means beginning from sounds, letters, words, phrases, sentences, and paragraph. Now, look at understanding again. What do you mean by understanding again? A process of decoding. What do you mean by understanding? Understanding means process of decoding. Decoding means what? There is a code. Code will be there. You need to decode. If I use the word car, you have to listen it first, then you have to decode it. So that is called understanding, means a process of decoding or internalizing the concept. See, if you want to understand anything, you have to internalize it. For example, please sit on my lap. Look at the meaning of the sentence. If you hear this word, look at the polite request or attitude, the request, please sit on my lap. Or if you read the second, sit on the lap. See the difference between the first example and the second example. Then I move on to the third example. We adore you if you switch off your cell phone. See, usually we say, hey, switch off your mobile phone. Rather say, we adore you if you switch off your cell phones. Look at all these three sentences, how you can understand the text. Yeah. Now, I move on to the here is one more slide, that the same slide is presented here. Bottom of intuition, that is the knowledge. So you have to begin with phonemes, as I told you. Then word unit, that is the how the words are formed. Then words, then phrases, then sentences. Then you have to move on. Now, linguistic knowledge is used. How do you understand a discourse based on your linguistic knowledge? What do you mean by linguistic knowledge? Linguistic knowledge means the knowledge of the language. If you have the knowledge of the language, definitely you can understand the text. Are you familiar with the print of the language? I mean, the appearance of the words. That is the convention of print. So the print, the appearance of Kannada is different, Tamil is different, Malayalam is different, English is different, Urdu is different. So you have to have the knowledge of the conveyance of the print, or way words look, how the words are look. Suppose if you look at the word, as soon as you're looking at the word, you start pronouncing. Why? The word is so familiar to you. Then the relationships between sounds and letters. you have to have the knowledge of the sounds and the letter. For example, we use the word beauty but we don't pronounce beauty put. See, the relationship is different. Beauty put, the pronunciation is different, and beauty but the pronunciation is also different. That is how you have to have the relationship between the sounds and the letters. Then reading module 2, that is the top down model. I am focusing on the other method. It emphasizes the reconstruction of meaning while reading and process of understanding the text. See, the second phase is reconstruction of meaning. What do you mean by reconstruction of meaning? When we read a discourse, when we read a text, we started restructuring the meaning of the word, the sentences, the paragraph. That's why there start the process of understanding the text. And reader generates meaning through. How do the reader generates the meaning? Employing background knowledge. What do you mean by background knowledge? We have to have our own knowledge. Every human being has has linguistic knowledge. Chomsky rightly said, a child born with linguistic blueprint. I repeat, Chomsky said, a child born with linguistic blueprint. It means it has its own ability to understand the language. Then the expectations. While reading, you expect certain things. Then the assumptions, some assumptions will form. Then the questions will arise. That is how this model, the top-down model, begin. Then using this intuition, the reader forms assumption. Because of our intuition, because of our knowledge, we form certain assumptions. Assumptions means text elements. What are the text elements? Every text has an element. For example, drama is a text. Drama has its own element like dialogue, characters, stage, plot, story. So also every text has a elements. Then determines whether his assumption is correct. See, when you read, when you start reading a text, your assumption is different. When you keep on reading a text, your assumption may also change. Then the model 3 is the interactive model. This model of teaching reading is based on prediction check process. So here, dear students, look at prediction check process. What do you mean by prediction? See, we will be having a kind of guessing. That's why it is called, a psycho-linguistic guessing game. A good man, said. It's a linguistic, psycho-linguistic guessing game. We start guessing the meaning of a word. We start guessing the meaning of a poem, a short story, a novel, a write-up. That is how this is called interactive model. Then the learner uses pre-existing knowledge. Here what happened? The schema. Schema means you have your own knowledge. You always start using your knowledge. And cultural understandings. You have the knowledge of the culture. Culture will help you understanding the discourse and life experiences. See, those who have many experiences in their life, they understand the discourse. A layman, an ordinary man cannot understand a text. But if you have a lot of experiences in your life, definitely you understand it. Why? To make out what makes sense. So if you want to make it sense or sensible, or if you want to understand a discourse, so you have to have a linguistic, what we call knowledge. Now the interactive model. Now I will be focusing on again continue. While reading the text, she implies types of knowledge. What are the knowledge she implies? Reader draws on top-down and bottom-up knowledge alternatively or simultaneously, depending on the type of text, the reader's background knowledge. Usually what happens, when we read, when we try to understand a text or poem or discourse, we always use both this, top-down and bottom-up knowledge, or which is already there. That is how the reader negotiates with the text or reading. Then language proficiency levels. See, if you want to understand any discourse, you have to have a language proficiency knowledge of a language. It is very difficult. So what is the minimum proficiency? Like, as I told you, the sounds, the letters, the words, the structure of the sentence, and that is how you have to. If we don't have that minimum knowledge, it will be very difficult to understand this proficiency level. Then look at these words, table salt, my dearest husband, my dearest wife, dearest mother, friend. Suppose if you read these words, look at your proficiency, language proficiency. Table salt, look at the meaning whether the salt is made of table, or a salt is put on the table, or the salt which is used while having our dinner or lunch. How do you understand it? So this is called, background knowledge. Table salt, so here if you want to understand this, the word table salt, you have to have the background knowledge. You have to have the knowledge of culture. If you don't have that, it is very difficult. For example, my dearest husband. Suppose if you say, sometimes what happens in newly married, wife says, "Oh, you are my dearest husband." What does it mean? It means you have to have the knowledge of discourse. We should not, use this kind of, what we call what we call superlative degree. Or you should not say my dearest wife. What is the meaning of my dearest wife? You have many wives and she is your dearest. That is how the language is understood. Or dearest mother, or you can use my dearest friend, because you have many friends and among them, she or he is dearest. This is the, the language, how you have to use the language. Then, so understanding the discourse depends on the text source. If you want to understand the text, you have to have the knowledge of the text source, where the text has originated, and the text design. You have to have the knowledge of the text design. For example, if you look at a poem, the design of the poem is different. When you look at the drama, the design of the drama is different. When you look at novel, the design of the novel is different. When you look at the great epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata, their text design is different. So you have to have the knowledge of text source and the text design. Then discourse type, which is very important. What do you mean by discourse type? Whether it is literature, it's a science, history, economics, biology, journalism. So you have to have the knowledge of this, discourse type. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to understand. Then intersentential link. You have to have the knowledge of intersentential, means how the sentences are connected, how the first sentence is connected to the next sentence or the last sentence. That is why intersentential links should be there. Then sentence structure. You have to have the knowledge of the sentence structure. Otherwise it will be very difficult to understand the discourse. Then class structure. You have to have the knowledge of the class structure. Then word structure, letter sound relationship, which I already have spoken, and the letters. Then knowledge of the world. If you want to understand the discourse, you have to have the knowledge of the world. For example, if you want to understand the word Mangalia, an Indian student can understand the meaning of the word Mangalia very easily, rather than a student from France, Germany, or. So that is why this, knowledge of the world is very, very important. Then the general knowledge of topic or socio-cultural environment. See, we have to have socio-cultural environment, the knowledge of socio-cultural environment. If you have that kind of socio-cultural environment, definitely it is very easy for us to understand the text. Then knowledge of genres help understand discourse. See, as I told in the very beginning, you have to have the knowledge of genre. Genre means what? Genre means type. Whether it is a drama, whether it is a poetry, you have to have that kind of knowledge in your mind. Definitely, it will help you to understand the discourse. Then Text types differ in terms of their communicative functions. Every text has a different communicative function. See, a Purana, Mahabharata, or Ramayana, their communicative functions are different. Or the function of a poetry or the function of a drama or its communicative functions are entirely different from the function of a science text. Then the way information is organized and presented, you have to have the knowledge of how the information is organized, how it is presented there. Then you have to focus on grammar, vocabulary, and in the way ideas are related each other. You have to have the knowledge of but that language grammar, the vocabulary, how the vocabulary functions. Then readers have knowledge of vast array of text types and their distinctive characteristics. See, those who have read many areas of books, for example, those who are familiar with science, literature, technology, or some other, basic science, they can understand the text very well. Then a degree of familiarity helps to understand the discourse. If you want to understand the text, suppose if you don't have the basics of mathematics, it is very difficult for you to understand the discrete mathematics. So if you want to pursue computer science, you have to have the knowledge of mathematics. If you don't have the knowledge of mathematics, it is very difficult for you to understand the computer science, because mathematics and computer science, they are related. That is why that familiarity should be there. Then it is gained through reading. How it is possible? It is only possible through reading. What I have already explained for last half an hour. So it should be gained through reading only. So reading is the base. Now I focus on text types. Look at what are the text you can, students. For example, if you want to read the calendars, addresses, phone books, name cards, bank statements, maps, anecdotes, weather for forecast, pamphlets, product labels, washing instructions, short stories, short poems, handbooks, cloth size labels. Then look at, graffiti on walls, children's scribbling. Look at, even if you want to understand children's scribbling, you have to have that knowledge again. Business letters, rules and regulations, electronic mail, telegrams, fax messages, junk mails, postcards, credit cards, comic books, newspaper, diploma, then application forms, store catalogs, magazines, radio, TV guides, then advertisements, then hello, madam. Hello, hello.
Now you can continue.
Okay.
Yeah, please start
Yeah.
screen sharing and
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. Now
Some
is it
network.
visible, madam?
Yes, now it's visible.
Now
Some
is it
network
visible?
issues. Yes,
Okay.
visible as well as
Okay. Okay. Okay, madam. Okay, madam.
Yes, sir. Continue.
Yes. Yeah. Now, strategies readers employ usually, what are the strategies readers employ in order to understand? Distinguish main ideas from minor ones. See, if you want to understand a discourse exactly, yes. Oh, there is a problem. Yeah. Battery problem is started. Okay. Yeah, in another 10 minutes, I know I am able to complete. So distinguish main ideas from minor ones, right? Then identify the salient points in a text to summarize, distinguish between fact and opinion, then use prior knowledge to work out the meanings within a text, then understand the relationship between part of the text from the use of connectives. Now, yeah, in order to have taken a poem, the title of the poem is Write the Cookie Thief. Ma'am, am I audible? Hello, madam.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Ah, yeah. Now, this is a practical session here. Look at the poem. I have taken the poem, The Cookie's Thief. Yeah. So, if you want to understand a poem, text, brainstorming, then think about pictures accompanying a text, if any, predict content from the title, prepare a set of questions or a quiz, then discuss the topic, then identify genre, then identify keywords.
Somebody is sharing. Girish, don't allow him. Yes, there is some problem with the internet connections. The resource person is located in the rural part of Bengaluru. I think there is some internet connectivity problem. So, yes, he has sent some of the clippings of his PPT, which I would be continuing now. I'll just share the screen. The PPT is what he had sent. Can it be seen? Screen? Okay, students, we shall now start. The next part, what Sir wanted to discuss is framing questions. There is a lot of problems in understanding the questions and framing the questions. APJ Abdul Kalam said that the questions, who gets the more questions is a scientist. Now, getting the questions, more than that, how do you frame the questions and ask is very important. So the purpose that we list for asking questions are thus. We ask questions for seeking information, for making a request, for beginning a conversation, making a comment on a situation, checking knowledge to find out if someone knows something accurately. For these purposes, we make use of questions. Now, in questions are called interrogative sentences. We ask questions to seek information. Now, there are two varieties of questions. One is yes or no questions, and the other is WH questions. Now, these two forms of questions are called close-ended questions and open-ended questions. What we call as yes or no questions is called close-ended questions. What we frame questions using WH words are called open-ended questions. Now, let us have a look at close-ended questions. A close-ended question looks for specific answers, which can be yes or no or multiple choices. For example, did you do your homework? Are you going out for shopping? Is it raining outside? So when we frame close-ended questions, we make use of helping verbs or modals or auxiliaries. So the format of this close-ended question is auxiliary plus subject plus object. Is she happy? Is an auxiliary. She is a subject. Happy is an object. So the yes or no questions or close-ended questions should come in this format. Some more examples let me give you. Are you listening to me? Can you sing a song? Now, this is the format of close-ended questions. There are totally 24 auxiliaries. Auxiliaries are also called helping verbs or modals. Now, coming to open-ended questions. An open question allows to develop their ideas without limiting their responses. You can make use of any number of words there. So these open-ended questions are asked for information. Here, the answers are more than one word. For example, what are you reading? When will you come home? So the answer should have to be given in a sentence. Then, why did you remain absent yesterday? WH words. To frame close-ended questions, we make use of WH words. The WH words are 9 in number. They are what, who, how, whose, whom, where, why, which, when. So, open-ended questions have this format: WH words plus auxiliary plus subject plus main verb. What do you do for a living? Why should we read books? Now, WH words without any auxiliary will have a format of WH words followed by a main verb. Now, this format I'm discussing if there is no auxiliary in a sentence. For example, what happened to Sushant? Who won the game? Where did he go? Now, WH words, the purpose of WH words are thus: who is asks questions about people. What asks questions about things or objects. When asks questions about time. Where asks questions about place. Why asks questions about reasons. Whom asks questions about ownership. Which asks questions about an opinion or choice. How asks questions about manner. Now, there is a beautiful diagram which I had picked up. These are some of the words we can use to make questions. Moving on, when. When is asked to used when we want to ask the time. When will you be returning? The time. I'll be returning at 1 o'clock. When will this session would wind up? This session would wind up by 1:15. Now, look at the sentence using when. When does she go fishing? She goes fishing at the weekends. Now, who? Who is asked for information about a person or people? Who is he? Who are the boys playing on the ground there? Who is knocking at the door? Who is that lady? So the answer will be, she is Helen's mother. Why? Now, why is the WH word which is used for asking reasons? Why did this happen? Why are people suffering from corona? So like this, the reason you want to know. Why is she happy? Because she loves animals. Now, where is a WH word which is asked to know about place or position? Where? Where do you stay? Where is your house located? Where is V.V.N. Degree College located? So to know about the place, we make use of the WH word where. Where does she read? She reads in her bedroom. Now what? What is a WH word which is asked for information, to know information about something? What happened to her? What is happening around us? We want to know the reason. What is her name? Is a question. We want to get the information. Her name is Alice. How? How is asked about manners, conditions, qualities. For example, asking for a way, asking for a manner, asking for a form. We make use of these WH words. How does it work? How do you go to school? How does Paul go to school? He goes to school by bike. Which? Asking about options, asking about choice. Which bag do you prefer? Do you prefer black one or the red one? So when there are more than one thing, then you need to choose. So to make choice, to know the options, we would make use of which. Which is better exercise, swimming or tennis? Which of the applications has got the job? Whom is used to ask about a person. Whom did you invite to the party? Or who did you invite to the party? Yes. Whose? Whose is asked when we want to know about an option or choice. Whose is used for asking about belonging or ownership. Whose bag is this? Whose vehicle is parked here, which is blocking our way? Whose? Whose money is kept on the table? Whose diamond ring is this? Whose bracelets are there? So when we want to know about the, we make use of the word whose. Whom. Whom is used for asking about a person. Whom did you invite to the party? Who did you invite to the party? Whose horse is that? It is Maria's horse. So again, once again, to recall what we have studied, a repetition. What? What is used for asking about a thing? When? When is used for asking about a time of an event or activity? Where? Where is used to ask about a place? Who is used to ask about a person? Whom is used to ask about a person. Which asking about an option. Whose to know about the ownership. Why is asked to know the reason. How is asked to know the manner or a procedure or a method. So let us once again recall the functions with the examples. What? What is asked for seeking information about something or asking for repetition or confirmation? What is your name? What? I can't hear you. You did what? What for? Asking for a reason. Asking why. What did you do that for? When? This is asked to know about the time. When did you leave? Where? Asking in or at what place or position. Where do they live? Which? Which is used to ask about choice. Which color do you want? Who? Who is asked? Or which person or person in particular? Who opened the door? Whom? Whom is asked? Which person or object has been done? For example, whom did you see? Whom? Which person? The object there. Whose? Asking about ownership. Whose are those keys? Whose turn is it? So don't get confused between whom and whose. Whom, the answer is always in the object place. Why? Why is used for asking a reason, asking what for. Why do you say that? Why don't is used for making a suggestion. Why don't I help you? Why can't I continue the session, as there were internet problems for the second session resource person? So this is asked like this to make a suggestion. Why can't I continue? Why can't this knowledge enriching program should be completed with some more information about new knowledge? Why don't I help you for suggestion? How? How is used to ask about manner, condition, or quality. How does this work? How was your exams? Okay. Now, as there is still time, we would also have a look at question tags. It is because there is a lot of confusion with the students, the difference between questions and question tags. Question tag is not a sentence, not a question as such. It is part of a sentence which is added to a statement to confirm whether the speaker agrees to what you have said. Now that is question tag. Now question tags, some examples I have shown here. Are you? Was she? Do you? Did she? Have I? If a sentence ends with these words, mustn't he, won't she, etc., then those are the question tags. Now question tags, let us have a look at it. We use question tags at the end of a statement to ask the confirmation. They mean something like saying, all right, or do you agree? Well, students, in all the languages, we do make use of question tags. But in English, it is not a set phrase. In other languages, there is a set phrase to confirm what you have said, whether the listener agrees with it or not. You would make use of the same set of phrases. Whereas in English, the question tag takes its form based on the statement, based on the sentence. Now look at this sentence. This is a question tag, isn't it? So the question tag, isn't it, is based on the sentence that you have asked. Now how is this formed? Some of the examples. Question tags are some of the points that you have to remember when you add question tags are, question tags are short questions at the end of statements. They are mainly used in speech when we want to. Now, 2 points that we have to remember when we have got to use the question tags. We have to use the question tags to confirm that something is true or not, or to encourage a reply from person we are speaking to. For example, when the teacher comes to the class and says, all of you do understand what I speak, then this would be just a statement. Student will keep quiet. But if the teacher wants to know the response from the students, she would say, all of you do understand what I have taught, don't you? So when she says, uses the word, the question tag, don't you, automatically the students will respond, either nodding their head or saying yes or no syllables, monosyllables. Now, question tags are formed with auxiliary or modal verb from the statement at the appropriate subject. Now, let us have a look at the format of question tag. Remember, the positive sentence always takes a negative question tag. A negative sentence takes a positive question tag. Now, the format of positive sentence and the negative question tag is auxiliary plus not plus subject. Not is always written in abbreviated form. Subject in question tag should always be in pronoun form. Now, the negative sentence, which has a positive question tag, will have the format auxiliary plus subject. The cats are not there. She has a car, hasn't she? Now, this is a positive sentence and the question tag is negative. Now, structure of the sentence is a positive sentence, a negative question tag. Example, you are a technician, aren't you? Then a negative sentence followed by a positive question tag. Example, you are not a technician, are you? So this is just to show. Now the basics of question tags you have to remember. Sentence and question tag must be in same sentence. This is very, very important. If the statement is negative, the question tag must be positive. If the statement is positive, the question tag must be negative. Always use pronoun in question tag. Always use contracted form in negative question. Contracted form of no in negative sentence. Now that we always get confused, like how will we know whether the sentence is negative or positive, the students ask. So there are 5 words of negations. For example, no, never, not, none. And if these sentences are found in the sentence, we would consider that sentence to be a negative sentence. You should also remember that when you write a question tag, you cannot write full there. Couldn't he and all. See, the format is this. Shall or will plus not will be shan't. You should not be writing shall not, that is wrong. Contracted form of not with shall is shan't. Shan't. Will plus not is won't. Similarly, can plus not is can't. May plus not is mayn't. Could plus not is couldn't. Might plus not is mightn't. Need plus not is needn't. Remember, am plus not is aren't. It's always aren't. Then, moving on, some of the examples here. Anne is reading a book, isn't she? You can't play the piano, can you? Tom will be late, won't he? You weren't listening, were you? Jane has got a new car, hasn't she? Charlie hadn't seen you before, had he? People shouldn't watch too much TV, should they? We must hurry, mustn't we? Okay. Now, when we are framing question tags, we come across some exceptions. They are, for example, if the statement starts with let's, then always remember the question tag should be shall we. Let's sunbathe today, shall we? It would be only shall we, always. Now, if the sentence begins with I am, then the question tag would be aren't I? I'm getting red, aren't I? I'm learning something new, even though there was some internet problem with the second session. I'm learning new now, aren't I? Now, imperative sentences will always take will, would, could, or you. Imperative sentences are used for giving commands. You have studied it. Pass me the salt. Now here, there is no helping verb. So when you come across imperative sentences, you have to make use of either will, would, could, or yes, either will, would, or could. And then in the pronoun in the question tag will be you. For example, pass me the salt. Will you? Now the negative words. As I told you, these words, if you come across in a sentence, you should conclude that this is a negative sentence and go for a positive question tag. For example, no, never, hardly, nobody, little, etc., which stand for negative verb and need a positive tag. He never comes to the class, does he? There is no reason for leaving now, is there? Yes. Let's. After a sentence with the let's, we use shall we. This is again, I'm repeating so that you'd be sure of what you have learned today. Let's go to the library after school, shall we? Let's study English tomorrow, shall we? So always you have to make use of shall we. I am. If I, the subject is followed by am, always it is followed by am. I'm telling that if it is followed by this helping verb without the main verb, then you should take for question tag aren't I. If the sentence is positive, it would be aren't I. I'm still the leader of the group, aren't I? I'm going out, aren't I? Now, with imperatives, with imperative sentences. If the main clause is an imperative, we mainly use the tag will you. For example, be here at 8 in the morning, will you? Clean your table, will you? Use of tag pronoun. After a clause with somebody, someone, everybody, everyone, nobody, no one, the tag pronoun is normally they. For example, if a sentence starts with these words, somebody, nobody, someone, etc., then the pronoun that you have to make use of in the question tag will always be they. For example, somebody told you the story, didn't they? No one came while I was out, did they? After a clause with nothing, the tag pronoun is normally it. For example, nothing is wrong, is it? Now we have to use positive tag here, is it? Because nothing is a negative word. So negative adverbs, adverbs with a negative sense in the statement clause lead to the use of an affirmative tag. For example, hardly, scarcely, rarely, etc. Sam never comes on time, does he? They rarely visit their parents, do they? Okay. Now, we are running short of time. One more point that you have to remember is that if in a statement or in a sentence where you are going to add a question tag, if there is no helping verb, then what would you be doing? You have to make use of either don't or doesn't or didn't based on the tense of the sentence. Let us have a look here at the sentence. You play the drums. Now, play is a plural form, so it takes don't you. They went to cinema. This is in past tense, so you have to make use of didn't they. Sneha works hard. Now here, works is in present tense, singular form, so it takes does. To remember, in a simple tip which I would give you is, if the verb doesn't have yes, then take do. If the verb has yes, then take does. Okay, yes. Now we are timed up. Thank you, students. Thank you so much. On behalf of V.V.N. Degree College, I express my heartfelt thanks to the resource person, Professor Murtyappa, who had agreed to our request and had logged in. But because of internet issues, he could not complete his session. Thank you so much, sir, for interacting with us and accepting our invitation. Students, we are sure that these classes are very informative and enriching also. Do open the link, as some of the students said that there are some issues with them as they cannot open the link in the chat box given. So today we will see how we can sort out that problem. So today we have posted here in the chat box as well as in WhatsApp group and then mail. So do attend those questions, give your feedback, also attempt those questions. When you do this, automatically your attendance is registered and you will be eligible for e-certificate. So thank you so much. Stay at home, stay safe. Good luck. Tomorrow at the same time, 11 o'clock, we'll be meeting and you have many more things to learn. We'll start tomorrow with a professor from Presidency University, Bengaluru, who would start with functions of language. And then we have Professor Alice Cherian, who would speak on app-based learning language. Thank you, students. Good luck.